So thank you for your time, and shameless plug, if you think you are dream team material, please get in touch with me. We would absolutely love to talk with you. All right.
Open up for questions.
Yeah, open it up for questions.
I'll interview you after some questions are asked.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Paul.
Yes.
Long time listener, first time caller. So what would you consider the ideal team composition would be for companies for less than 100 people, 100 users, let's say?
Yeah, so that's a great question.
Repeat the question.
So, yeah, I can do it, yeah. What's the ideal team composition for a team of less than 100 people? So I think Salesforce has some general guidance about this, and I can't remember exactly what it is. It may be like one admin for 50 people, 50 users, something like that. But it ultimately, it's not the best guidance because it's more what phase are you in, right, in terms of your need, and then what kind of company are you? So it's a hard question to ask. You know, you might have a software company where you need to build out insane amounts of automation within your org, but software companies also tend to run super lean, right? So maybe you only have 20 people that have access to the org, but you need really highly specialized people, and in that case, you may need a full team, right? In other cases, you may have a team that is very large, maybe only uses Salesforce for, say, Sales Cloud, right? And they only use it for sales, right? And you know, maybe there's a very regimented, very regulated way that they do sales, right? And in that case, you might be able to get by with having large numbers of people with lower numbers of admins or less people in the team. But I do want to emphasize, like, regardless of whether or not one person's doing the job of 6 or 6 people are doing the job of 6, that is the way it is, right? Like, you're gonna have people that need to interface with the company. You're going to have people that need to define what that means, to build it out, to solution those things, to do, you know, the customizations, and to do all of the testing. And somebody to manage those projects as well, regardless if, you know, the volume is low.
Thank you. So you've can I ask another question? So you have mentioned also that approximately there are 6 different positions in a Salesforce environment that you can aspire for. So let's say somebody who is just starting and planning to go for the Salesforce admin, which is kind of like a first step. What would you consider their different types of Salesforce admins? They're just doing the regular admin work, so not dealing with the BA or dealing with logistics. So let's say if they're just focusing on admin work, would you separate Salesforce administrator in multiple different structure, like somebody who's got tackle users, somebody who's
So yeah, let's see if I can make sure I got this right. So you're asking if somebody is getting into the ecosystem, their Salesforce administrator, what sort of roles does that open up for them right out the gate? Okay, so Salesforce admins, I think, immediately have the ability to do BA work, Salesforce business business analyst, right? So they're interfacing with the company quite a bit. And I think right out the gate they can do work as a QA and QC tester. I think that makes sense to them as well. I think of admins as developers. Yeah, so I think of admins as developers that aren't really coding. And so an admin in the 6 jobs positions that I was talking about in terms of what you want in a team, an admin is somebody that is going to do stuff like create fields and do validation rules and create automation processes, and you know, they can do it in a declarative way, and they can then transition into a developer role. So I think you can almost sort of think as an admin as like a junior developer in a way, and I would say that is a position that they could hold as well as a BA or a QA QC tester.
Question from the chat. What qualities do you feel are important for your team? What stood out for you in choosing your team? I repeat it. I was trying to do loud, but.
Yeah. So the question is, what are the qualities that you look for in people when choosing your team? So we want everybody to have, we want people to work hard. We want people to be self-learners. So hard work, self-learning, and then culture fit. Those are probably the big ones. And then obviously you need to know the material. We take a different approach in interviewing. I know some people are here, they've gone through this process with me, but my approach for interviewing is a lot more, I think, rigorous than most. And one of the ways that we do this is we literally get on a screen share and you build an app with me right there, right then. I ask questions and we interact. I understand how you're thinking, how you want to build the application, and I'm able to give you feedback right then and there. And it helps me understand your level of abilities, and that's super important because we really are looking for top-notch and high-quality people. The second piece to that is hardworking, and that's obviously something that we're not going to know right out of the gate until you start join the team. But everybody that works for Cloud Pacific is an incredibly hard worker. And the other one is self-learning. Like I'm a self-taught developer. So a lot of people say that's not the best way to learn, but I have a lot of respect for people that can say I have no idea how to code, or I have no idea what Salesforce is or what this means for me, and then just go and learn it. And to me, that is the best sort of litmus test, right? If somebody was working at a company like I was, and was sort of forced to learn it, that's less ideal in a way than somebody that said, this is interesting, and then spent their own personal time really trying to understand it and exploring the platform. In terms of people that have no programming language or no programming experience, I think, Apex is by far the best thing that you can get involved in, and learning SOQL. If you know those two, you're going to be really, really ahead of the game, even if it's just at a basic level. There's a lot of front-end programming you can also do in Salesforce, but it is splintered quite a bit. And so if you're going to really focus on a single program, you start with Apex, and it'll be super beneficial for you. And then you can expand into some of those front-end frameworks after.
What has been the most challenging part of running a Salesforce consulting firm?
The most difficult part, is that?
Challenging part.
Even though the job definitely burned me out, over those 4.5 years, I gained an enormous wealth of knowledge. And perhaps the most valuable tool that I had discovered was the Salesforce community. And after my jump and my brutal stint as a Salesforce guru, I finally decided, my next venture, I'm going to go in with a little less gung-ho, a little bit more get ready. And I scored my first contract as a private consultant in 2018. And shortly after that, I got a second contract, and that was sort of an aha moment of, well, I guess I need some help. Salesforce community, with an unwavering support from my wife, and with the Hawaii user group, which we're at right now, as a big part of my community backbone that encouraged the endeavor, and where I also source significant people for my team. The connections that I built, the friendships I made and developed, became my network. And now, instead of trying to do 6 jobs myself.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today.